So the story so far, 19th of November, 2006. So Wendy's name was in lights because I had this dream and been thinking about it, and it started probably in '86 when I was in Cooma working as an accountant, and this women's group rang me, would I speak on budgeting as an after-dinner speaker to a dinner of women? And I thought, can you imagine, how this is really going to go? I'm going to make a name for myself, this. So I rang it back and I said, I'm sorry, I could not bore, 60 women with budgeting after dinner. After we all had some wine and that. But I'd love to talk about my dream. He said, I don't care what you talk about, I just want to organise a speaker. And I said, thank you. So I went to it, the board and all this sort of thing. And I had a woman come up to me, and I've never forgotten, she was a woman, Italian, and she had come over to build her husband had come over to build the snow scheme, and they'd been back home for a visit, 6 weeks. And in the time that they went back to Italy for a visit, her husband had died over there. And so she thought, well, I have to leave, it's good to leave his body in his home, his place of origin. So she came back to Cooma by herself, to his pipe sitting in the ashtray, to that chair, his clothes, the sheets sort of still on the bed from, when they left the night before and that. And she said, if I'd have just had your village to come back to, it would have just been easier, than just, and I just thought, yes, good story, So I thought, well, and I didn't even know how to tell David about my dream, the man that I've been sleeping with for 33 years, So I thought, well, what can I do? And a website, that's a good idea, but what do I do? I haven't got any pictures, you can't have all words. And so then I came across Wendy. Wendy, put your hand up. She's just amazing. Oh God, she's good, this woman. She just drew, and she just listened to my dream over I don't know how many sessions. And I said, look, do you mind, can you use cartoony characters, because we don't want to have to be tall, short, what in fact, and so she did these drawings, and that of course is the basis of the website. So I just, and she was just such a listener, and I just say, I see like a smart cafe where we can have cappuccinos or herbal teas or whatever, and people will be going off to tennis, and there'll be the skateboard ramp, because Mike and James will want to do their skateboarding, and Tessa, and then the whole village design. And I can see the sea not too far from Sydney, and there'll be the craft barn where we can go, and we can we might want to do some gardening. I'm not big into gardening, but I'm happy to go and pick the carrots to eat them, and the chooks will be there, and then there'll be visitors coming, international visitors, and there'll be the swimming pool, and Muriel will be doing the yoga in the yoga thing, and then there's guest accommodation. People can come and do juice fasts there and get healthy, and we'll have an education centre where we show people how it's easy to do it sustainably if you band together. And so she just, we have village events like a Club Med, 9 o'clock there'll be tennis, but whatever, she just listened to all this, and she was just, exactly, and she was just like, like amazing, and it's just so great that she's here, that I can publicly honour this woman. This is like this time, 2 years ago, or no, a little bit earlier. So this is 2 years old, and it's just how it's still so fresh and so wonderful. So then the website was born, and that was now a bit over 2 years ago. And I thought, oh well, that's up. So what do I do now? And I went to the first ever Ecovillage conference up at Crystal Waters. You hear this place, Crystal Waters, from time to time. It is one of, an eco-village in Australia, and there's a fellow up there called Max Lindegger, and he's like the father of eco-villages a bit in Australia, and he's an amazing fellow. He's about 70 or something, and this wealth of amazing knowledge, and he's a great fellow. And so I went up to this conference, and so I had the website up, so it was all firmly in my mind, and different people were speaking, and I was sitting there in anticipation. Dom and Vida were there, and they were going to give a talk on some of their baby, their eco-village. And I thought, I'm sure it'll be interesting. Yeah, they're all very interesting, but none of them are just so then he gets up there and he starts talking, and Diga starts talking, and you know, I'm sitting back in the chair, and then I'm drawn forward in the chair, drawn forward in the chair, and just like extraordinary stuff. And you know, I'm thinking, you know, they've seen the website, you know, they've seen the website, they've got the, you know, it was like as though our stories just absolutely gelled, you know, it was just such stuff. I couldn't wait till they finished to get with them. Couldn't wait to get back to Sydney to pay them $50, you know, to join their membership. So I could pretend in my mind that I was there, even though it was on the other side of the country, and, you know, pretend that I was going to the meetings, and in my mind, you know, I play that I was there, and be watching what they were doing, and just loving what they were doing. And so also during that time, we were doing a bit of travelling. I mean, you know, Dave and I travel as often as we can. And I travel with my daughter through France, looking at different eco-villages there. And, you know, none were just quite, yeah, you can take a bit of this and a bit of that, but none were just quite right. And Dave and I have sort of been to sort of quite a few of them too. So you're sort of trying to, you know, like, get a different product. You know, there's this one's quite good, this one's quite good, but no, I couldn't live there, no, I couldn't live there, no, but aspects of them. And then they started, Somerville started, and I thought, you know, it seems that I could live in this place. This Somerville place just seemed to be, you know, I don't know whether you want to call me mainstream, or, I mean, that's a word I don't really understand, but a lot of people bandy it around. You know, I'm just mainstream, and I don't know what it is, but it was certainly appealing to me. So we met at this designers conference, and after that, it took a while, but then, because at that time Paul was overseas travelling around looking at all these eco-villages with his family around Europe and the States. And then I heard that Paul was coming over to the East Coast, and so I rang him and I said, can we get together? And so eventually we got together at Canberra Airport. And I was so pleased because Dave was with me then. And up until that point, David had said, oh, Linda, you know, look, this is your dream, you know, it's a great dream, but it's your dream. I'll support you in any way, but, you know, it's your thing. You know, I'll be doing my thing. And we met Paul. He was with me. We were coming back from Vancouver, where we used to live. We met Paul, and we had about 3 hours at the airport with him. And it was just like Dave and I came away from Paul and his story, and you'll hear his story and the model that they're working with. And we're just going, holy hell, we just got to work with these guys. You know, there's no option here. You know, they're just doing exactly what we want, you know, and they'll give us the strength and the capabilities to you know, form a framework about what we want to do. And the great thing is that David loved it too, you know, because most times David and I see the world differently. Bringing up children, yes, he can do this, no, he can't. Yes, he can, no, he can't, you know. So it was amazing that we were sort of on the one track here, and that was great because his sense of Paul and Dom and the project, and my sense of Paul and Dom and the project converged, and that gave me confidence that let's go ahead. And so we talked more, and then in February, Dave and I went over to Somerville, and you know, you'd always be welcome there. They're an amazing, welcome community, and it was just to see it at first hand in February. They have what they call Somerville Sunday on one of the Sundays of the month, and people go out to the land because the houses haven't been built yet. So they go out to the land, and they have different things happening on the land, you know, it's lifelong learning stuff. You know, there's always something going on, and if you want to, you can choose to go for that. And we saw, you know, we witnessed, you know, and the trust and the feeling of the place was like extraordinary. And it's important for you to come and hear our story today, and we'll make the DVD, because you may not be on the same page as us. And we don't know who will be there at the end of the day, you know, who will be there living in this place. Some people will be, for sure. We're looking for 300 to 500 people or whatever. We're not looking to sell Coca-Cola to the world. This is a special community we're building, absolutely special community. You guys are here hearing it first. And it's a different sort of model, you know, it's a different sort of model. And it's not going to appeal to everybody. Thank God for that.